Okay, so today I've got a Marine Arena replay. We're gonna scope it out.
Welcome, Commander.
So my team's up here in the top right. I am far from good on this game, but I like to play with my buddy, so he's handicapped. Right now everyone's picking the options for the game. We're going with standard, classic mode. You can see all the options on the left. Marine Arena's interesting mod built into the StarCraft game. You start with a chosen set of mercenaries and some marines. Using them, you fight to earn additional crystals. And then make your unit stronger, and so on. The whole point of the game is to kill the base. Once you take out the main base, they're out, and they're gone. If they only get one of your teammates, then your items spawn faster, and you can do better. So you see here we have 4 teams of 2, and everyone's kind of fighting to get the best out of the situation. A teammate got a nice hit here, and was kind of sandwiching one of the enemies. The major goal is to not let anyone get behind you. You can see this flanking position they're setting up. And I pulled my units down at this time so that I could get behind him. So while we were doing that, the purple teams come in after us. I went ahead and did a special mercenary unit this round, as you can see here. I like the Raven because you just let it build its energy up and you can send it out and do a seeker missile to just give some marines. And it's really good support. You can drop down 3 of these turrets fairly easily. So at this point in time, you can see the score. My teammate and I got some early feed from the middle battles. Went pretty good. Okay, so we've got this team going with Zealots and some Hydralisks. So we got Zerg Protoss here. My buddy started off with Marauders. You watch my Seeker unit. Just blew up some of those Marines. Now I'm going to drop turrets as the support. And that should be plenty for him to take that out. He actually got hit kind of hard with those Zerglings, but they stayed too long and I was able to do the exact same thing they did to me, to them. While we're doing this feed, you can see that there's a kind of massive armory over here. The medevac's a good way to go because it just provides a lot of healing and sustainability to your army. You can pick up these special units from going to these middle bases. So here you can see I built a Raven, they built a medevac. point in time, we're kind of leading the feed. The blues are catching up with us. And I think they realized that we were doing well against the top, and so they're trying to box us out there so that they can get feed as well. At the same time, my partner here, he went for the hybrid destroyer. Has a lot of splash damage and good range. I did a pot shot. Oh, sneaky move. Light blue hit, I don't know, medium blue? Pretty hard from the back. And then we come in and we hit dark blue here. I kind of messed up, and you can see I normally keep my zealots separate from my army so that they don't get clustered up. There you go. This is my standard flanking maneuver here. It just didn't go so well, and I don't have enough troops to do much, but kept his army there long enough that I could bring my tank lots in. Alright, he's upgraded to Narrators. Oh. Light purple just got sandwiched there. We're in a very precarious position at this time. Just because, I mean, anytime you're dealing with one army at the front door of another army, you're bound to get squished. But we stayed a little too long here, so we kept the feed even for him instead of getting the advantage. These Zelnaga towers are great for providing vision. If you control it, the point, then you can generally see like everything in an arc around your base. Okay, so in this game there's things called saviors, and there he is. Each team starts with 4, and they can use them and they just instantly kill everything in the base. So 2 saviors are down for dark blue. I think light blue should have gone back in. If they'd used their marines to hit him and distract him, and brought their tanklets on, he could have gibbed that easily. And they probably even baited out a savior with only 10 of his units. But he wanted to stack them, probably figuring he could just kill them in one stand. So this whole time we've been going against these guys. I was really surprised they didn't use a savior. As you notice, I told Damerg to pull his troops back. So I just got some free credits from that Merc base. And I pulled my guys back because I saw dark blue. Red and light blue really went into a defensive position here. I think they threw away their lead. At this point we've got dark blue sandwiched in the middle. So instead of getting caught out by dark blue, I actually didn't know light blue was there. So I just went in for the Merc base, and it worked. So dark blue just got squashed there, but they still got a lot of feed out of it, which means their units aren't giving quite as much bounty, because, I mean, light blue is the one that took them out, but they only have 2,500, whereas dark blue is almost 5,000. So that was nice. Denmark took out the shuttle, but 2 armies against 1. And just kind of got hit real hard. So while that was happening, I just went to see how much damage I could do to red. They're lower, so you're usually better off trading credits against the people who are behind, because that way it enables you to continue to get a lead above the second place units in a more risky trade, so to speak. Denmark kind of extended here, but like I said, this team's in 3rd place, so we felt safer trading credits with them. We have blue over here, just doing really good feeding for them in this case. It helped get them back into the running. So, I mentioned in the middle you can get a lot of specialized units. There's a couple of them that are really good against air, and eventually they got tired of me using my Raven to nuke armies, and they brought one of those out after me. The middle beacon actually lets you use a few abilities. It can put a shield around your army or heal a unit. So it gets used a lot. It's one bonus of controlling the top. Ooh, I'm pretty sure they just used 2 saviors, and they really only needed 1. So here I'm doing the support turrets again. I'm kind of building up my troops, trying to get a decent enough army that I can zerg into people. So there, I probably went a little too aggressive, especially without Denmark to back me, and they just kind of ate my army. Luckily, half the feed went to purple, so those crystals just kind of go out. Light blue got their zerglings in there, and they weren't paying attention and pretty much killed them. So we lost Badass Cyborg. We tried to keep them going for a while because they were actually great feed for us. But in doing so, we ended up losing the base, which was a good 300 credits. Plus these 2 things, 100 each, so 400 credits. Ooh. I used another savior though. I was too slow to respond, so Denmark had to deal with blue again. There really is a feeding frenzy. Once once someone's low and it comes down to who's going to get the credits, it's hard to tell. So in the middle, here's an example. I healed my main unit, and then I grabbed a shield from the center base to go in, but I didn't like my odds, especially with the red right behind me, so I pulled back. There's temple zealots, which I call tank lots, and then there's blink lots, and I like those because they teleport with every attack, so there's just so much jumping around that they're almost impossible to target, but they still, even with that, get taken out when you're too when there's things with splash damage around, such as destroyers or marauders. They still just die. So I like using the tanklets because they're really good at taking out structures. See here, he had a load of them, but he's only got 4 damage on his. He's trading decently here, but if he had brought these Marines with him from the get-go, he probably would have won that easily. But at this point, he's already lost over half of his troops. And by the time Red came in to try and help, Dark Blue was more than ready to fend him off. So then Blue just got the feed. So even if you're not leveling your Marines, if you can get them in a good positioning, and he's got 6 damage. That would have been a lot of help. And then we just have the timing here. We almost got the base, but we pretty much fed him with a huge savior. If you can use savior to take out a whole army like that, then you're good. We got hit with the zealots here, but we don't like to use our saviors if we don't have to. And so it was a decent trade. Daymar got a lot of credits at that. I got a few, but he also got a chunk. Boom. And I'm pretty sure that was the missile that triggered them buying an anti-air unit. Can't remember who got it exactly. It definitely made it a lot harder to do those snipe shots. So you can see, I like how when you upgrade the Marines, they change their weapon pairs. So you see my guys, they're not ready. You zoom in, the volume gets loud. Okay. But you can see here, he's buffed his up quite a bit. He doesn't do a lot of armor when he does them. He goes with stim pack, damage, health. So he can pretty much spam that stim pack without destroying the effectiveness. So at this point, there were a lot of trade-offs, but you can see that after a couple bad battles with light blue and poor positioning, they just didn't have the troop respawn rates to survive. And so they became the feed target. There he is. This thing here is really, really good at anti-air. So one thing you'll see people do is sometimes they'll use the Marines to kill Marines, particularly if they've been focusing on mercenaries. Like if you click in here, you'll notice that you have your mercenary upgrades hero upgrades. I didn't use a hero this round. And then you have your standard marine upgrades. So I've been focusing almost exclusively on my mercenary upgrades. But when you do upgrade mercenaries, a lot of times when you get to the end game, it's the marines that matter, because you can do things like drop a load of marines on people's bases. But a good thing to note is, as you level any mercenary hero or marines, you also share points. So say you do 2 upgrades on mercenaries, well, that'd be like upgrading your marines once. So often when you get to a certain point where the credits are expensive to level mercenaries, then you can level your marines and still make your mercenaries better. Okay. So he just used a savior here. He's laughing because he only got half of his army, and he's still just feeding off him. They are putting turrets out fast, but notice none of them, like, only a third of them actually were in range to do damage. So they could just be preventatory for this, because he'll probably go straight for the base after he kills a few more of them. Yeah, that's why I did it. Yeah. So at this point, we weren't in a good position. You'll notice they're watching us, and blue is here to kind of prevent us from feeding, but Daymore got in and did some stuff. So he actually got some of those credits before they took his army out. I had gotten just enough tanklets to damage him, but not enough to do well, so I had to pull out quick, and I still lost a couple. Okay, so now we're down here. And this is pretty much when they started talking trash. I mean, I thought the game was fairly even. They're just looking at the score and the fact that I'm bad. Because I haven't even been using my marines well. Because they're a liability at this time. So my ability to feed is greatly hindered because I've been doing so much focus on my mercenaries. You can see here that for everything Daymore gives, he's always gaining. You're talking so much trash. I did a support tower, so it greatly reduces the damage that you take there. I did a marine drop, I don't know why, I was just experimenting. So I did a couple nukes with this guy, he ran out of energy. All in all, they got a decent amount of feed there, but so did Daymorg, and I got some. I still think they came out stronger than us, but the fact that that didn't pull a savior kind of made them mad. We have reached the point, though, where they put almost all their focus on their armies. So they have a stronger army than us. Especially, look at that damage on those things. These cracklings are insane. And if we leave the base, we're kind of dead. So we've gotten to the point where we can no longer engage and move about. So about 40 minutes in, we're stuck to defending. Now, if they were smart, they would be using their extra credits to, I don't know, buy a siege tank, defend a base. Because you get a siege tank up here, and if you just place your army in such a way that we would have to overextend to take it out, then they could just kill us from range. There's other things you can do. I mentioned that I'm not doing the heroes, But I mean, they could get a Odin, 500 credits, nuke the base. We would either have to pull all of our troops out of the base and overextend, in which case they could slaughter our troops, or let them sit here and get nuked and be almost dead. Then they could send small armies in to try and kill our bases, and we would have to savior. There's a lot of things you can do at this point, but they just kept sending in groups of their troops to feed off of us, but when you do that, you're also feeding us, so it's not a very good tactic. I mean, it's kind of boring on our part, because we could just chill. Can't really do much. Yeah, that time he got 1k, we got 1k or so. Yeah, we definitely got more than him on that exchange. What he doesn't realize is his cracklings are worth so much more bounty than my units. The music really kicked up. Alright, so I'm gonna fast forward a little here. That's pretty much all they do is talk trash for a while. See, I tried to get up there, but I had to run back. Got overextended. Just messy battle. Luckily my tanklets were able to break through their zerglings and cut into the underbelly. And in doing so, it was a direct trade-off between Daemorg and his troops. Oh, here he trolls me pretty good. He waits, oh! And then he pops him into the medevac. So all I could do is just grumble. So the key to my defense here is that I have this cluster of Marines. They're not horrible. At this point in time, we started stacking defense because when we got the fast attackers, it's actually beneficial to have good armor against those because the armor reduces every attack and they're attacking a lot. So I have this cluster here, and they would throw themselves against it because they had to get past the armies to get to the bases. And then I had the support tower, and it was nice because I popped Guardian Shield, and it reduces damage. Primarily ranged, but it meant that only his Zerglings could do damage there. It's kind of nice because this also allows me to call down Merc Marines, but my Merc Marines are crappy, so they're not that useful. Well, first they killed our vision, and then they prepped for the assault. So here they're trying to draw our army out. So anyone that I didn't have a tight control of, you can see how they just wanted to run out and die. But in distracting light blue, dark blue had to do a direct trade against Daemorg, and so they were trading even, and that kept Daemorg in the feed so that he could be competitive to him. Well, all I can do is distract light blue and hope that I don't feed too much, because at this point I'm almost half their credit worth, and so I'm just not efficient enough to kill them without giving them the better trade. Ooh, look at that bloodbath. So you can see they're getting crystals, we're getting crystals. Finally, Daemorg just said, alright, they're stuck. They're not going to pull. And he, boom, wiped their army. It hit light blue a little more. But Dark Blue had already pretty much left. He didn't even have Raiders there. I was just going to clear out his vision. I used way more than I needed to. I was actually worried that they were just going to trounce me. They actually only killed a couple. And Daymorg was able to bottleneck, do decent enough trade. So one thing with Marine Arena is when you start the game, you set sudden death mode, right? Because this could just go to a stalemate. So if you get to 60 minutes, boom, everything's wiped and you start fresh. I mean, you still have your research levels, and you get credits based on what you had at the time that you dropped. So then you can hurriedly do additional upgrades, and then controlling the middle becomes critical to the game because you get additional credits at that point in time. He kind of got kited there. Oh! But what we missed is he actually did one of his base drops, and they called him a noob because he was tearing apart his base, and they popped a savior at that time. So now we know they're down to only one savior, if they even have one. This guy kept calling us a kid, which, in my experience, most people that call people kids are usually kids themselves. So I was guessing they were playing a kid. That was a little too busy. Let's see here, the shields just shut the Marines down. So the biggest threat is his cracklings. As you can see how nasty the damage is there. And I was super slow on my savior because I didn't realize he was going to take it out that fast. So yeah, he's talking trash. But it doesn't matter. So he comes in and he does it again. But the key point there is he's going after me and not Daymorg. And then finally when he did realize that Daymorg's the biggest threat, it was a little too late. So I actually sat on it for a little bit because I figured if I had spawned it, there, I finally respawned it again, but he didn't rush it, so I got to keep my base this time. Your base can spawn turrets, and I'm sure you saw it when all the other armies were being addressed. Check this. Alright, we'll turn the game. Just resetting the music, it was getting a little crazy there. So I started doing preemptive turrets at this point. I don't know why, but this guy had that out for me. You can see I did a better job at kind of blocking them. They were set to the feed, and I still wasn't able to stop him from killing my base again. Each time he did that, he was costing me 200 to 300 minerals. But we did just eat his whole army there, so that was kind of nice. I think this is when I waited to respawn it. Oh, I was derping here. Daymorg made fun of me because I had accidentally set one of my units to auto-attack my anti-air, and I almost killed it. Alright, so then after he scanned me, that's when I started building my Merc base, so that he doesn't know it's back up. He probably figured I was out of crystals, and I don't know why, but they paused on attacking us for a bit. Probably to try and get us to do a large, or to use a large army to take us out. There they go. I just kept doing periodic scans so they knew I was watching. These towers are nice because they let you do additional scanner sweeps, and they regen their energy faster than the base, in my opinion. Okay, so I started just piling the turrets on and just blocking their access to it because I got tired of them killing everything. Daemorg had a good chance, so he just, boom, hit him hard, and that enabled him to just feed on Dark Blue, because Dark Blue keeps forgetting that Daemorg has the feed to counter him. He actually got a nice chunk of change out of that savior. At this point, they think we're out. They're certain that we are out of saviors, so they're getting ready for the final assault. I just went to mid and stole all the energy so they couldn't use it, because there's only so much energy. Did a couple transfusions in the shield and ran. Alright, build more turrets. But what they don't know is I still have one savior left. Wow. He started pumping into his marines, that's for sure. Oh, he baited out some of my guys. Oh. They weren't paying attention and were not ready for that counterattack. So then they come in here and they got the ranged against the bubbles. Oh. And there's the savior they didn't know about. So at this point, I mean, I'm still way behind, but they're not double my feed. It's feasible, and I put a lot into my mercs, and I started actually getting some marine points. Got some stim packs, so then when they attack, I can just pump it in there. Yeah. Yes, you killed them both after we attacked them and weakened them. But anyways, they're just mad because we got a good savior and we evened it out. And at this point, there's 2 minutes to sudden death. So they're not going to try anything. They're just prepping their armies for after that. They're mad. They think that yes, we turtled. We had to turtle for the last part, but we're still engaging them. They're coming in. Like I said, there's a lot of things you can do at that point. Set up siege tanks, you can get a hero, you can drop nukes. There are ways to do that. Instead, that savior kept our army intact while theirs is cut. So you can see that my mercs are actually doing a decent amount of damage to them, which enabled Daemorg to just eat them up. And so I just kind of kite him in and out, make them focus on me so that his AoE can destroy him. And at this point, Daemorg now has taken the lead on points. I mean, I'm still way behind, but I'm not feeding him. And while we were doing that, boom. What I did right here, and fails miserably because my Marines are ghetto, is what Daemorg had just done to them and nuked their base. So now it's a 2v1. We just hit sudden death, and he's so mad. You can see here, we're just throwing all our troops out there. I was wondering if I should just go straight for his base, because I figured he was going to send troops out. But he was laying low. He didn't go anywhere. In which case, it just kept feeding us periodic crystals. So Daemorg decided to go with a honey badger. Honey badger is kind of a tanky champion that can protect the armies and pop out shields and does decent cleave damage. So he was going after the Marines with that. You can see that he used it to just kind of take the hit while we destroyed his base. got a little low. But we were able to take out his merc base, make him waste a lot of credits. I spoke too soon. Didn't get it. But you can look here, I actually have Marines that look cool. So his partner finally left the game. He probably should have done that sooner so that his teammate would have spawned faster. So I was worried that he was going to take all these Reavers here with insane damage and ninja me from behind. So to prevent that, I just moved my army up here. Because if he takes them up to kill me, Daemorg's going to destroy him. So while I was blocking his retreat at this point, I was thinking, well, why don't we get some of these units to help us? So I went up here and I grabbed a siege tank so we could set up and nuke them from there. And then I also got mothership. Mini mothership's nice because it does the cloaking. So actually all I had to do was bring this up here and boom. See how you just can't see these troops? And his primary damage is melee, so he can't do anything to the mothership. So that ended it. And this is Marine Arena 2. It's a pretty fun game. It's an easy game. That's the general taunt, to just talk smack. Alright. That's it. Awkward finish.